Will be.
This is probably just right.
How you doing?
Good.
Okay.
We'll
We need a bigger table as we get bigger.
fix this area up a little bit.
Are we?
We're working on some design.
That's
A little more space today.
Yeah, that's,
We need new carpeting, maybe some new chairs.
Yeah.
Like that, so.
those chairs are more comfortable.
All right, Mayor.
They do. I know.
It's just easier to stack.
Right. For these guys? Yeah, but they're in good condition. We can trade them out to somebody else. There's a
Repurpose.
office, it's on,
Liquidator or something.
Yeah,
On,
I think they take-
six.
yeah, I think they take donations and that kind of stuff. 'Cause I bought a few things to the library. You know?
Everything's perfect, but I forgot. Order of operation.
Okay, these are the letters that EDC wrote. That's okay. Letters for, this is from EDC.
Okay, yeah.
It's like a two-pager.
Wasn't there, if you need the open house, one.
Okay, couple more coming to you.
Gotcha.
I got a couple for you, Laura. I'm so happy. I aim to please.
All right, we're off mute, everyone.
Okay, just another minute.
We can mix up like 3 more inches.
Hello, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Idaho Springs City's work session for Monday, May 22nd, 2023. We've got 4 items on the agenda for the work session. And first up is the Suncatch Solar. I would be happy to talk about this. We've been asked to give a letter of support. We're not under any kind of financial obligation, but I did want to point out, and I'm real happy that they brought some extra color flyers. This would be a homegrown Clear Creek County energy company. And as you can see, especially on the back, their production gives a substantial cost savings for folks, particularly in heat generation. You know, when you look, most of us in our community are either on natural gas or you're dealing with propane or electric. And you can see that they are significantly a fraction of what folks are spending on that. They have several acres on Floyd Hill. So it would be a local production. They have some proprietary manufacturing. And I'm happy to say they came with Clear Creek Economic Development and had a talk with us. That's where we got the flyers. But I think it's something that we would greatly benefit, here in the county. To have a manufacturing, especially it's more a diverse job base. And, we may even be some a guinea pig here in the county, if not the city, as far as a proof of concept. So They were requesting a letter of support for their production company. Because they are applying for a grant, and that grant is due, is it tomorrow, I think? Oh, okay, right. Hey, Scott, good, I got a couple of flyers for you. We're talking about this new energy company.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So how do we buy into it? I mean, is it just the hill? I don't know who I'm asking, by the way. I guess I'm gonna ask the room. Is it just the hill that's gonna provide the service, or is it gonna be something that they want to put on homes or businesses as well?
So what we are proposing is that actually.
If I may, would you mind coming to the table? Sure. Please, both of you are welcome to come up to the table.
So for this particular grant application, it's not a grant, it's actually a prize, like more like content. We are proposing to build the demo site, that's how they call it, but in reality, that will be a micro solar thermal grid to hopefully supply several facilities within maybe a downtown of Idaho Springs. So it's like, as far as I understand, Idaho Springs has steam pipelines, like the old-fashioned heating, right? Heating system. So we can actually hook up to that system and supply like city hall, library, rec center, heated water, heated like areas, right? Yeah.
I was just kind of thinking out loud, the rec center spends a fortune heating that pool in the winter. It's
Yeah.
extremely expensive.
Yeah,
And
that would be awesome.
yeah, this is remarkably efficient and a fraction of the heat source they currently use. So that, that might be a good proof of concept as well.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Paul.
I just, I had to ask, when you were referring to the steam system, were you referring to an existing system in the streets?
I think she was meaning like the kind of heat we have in the houses.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, yeah, I think you guys already know how I'm gonna roll with this one, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail.
Basically a startup company? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Stations.
Development of the technology was supported
It's like a
by
no-brainer.
SAR phase 1 and phase 2 grant, federal
Do
grant
they?
by USDA NEPA.
I love
So
it.
they are oriented to agricultural industry and rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
And we are obviously a rural community here. And so the contest we are applying, that's supported by DOE. It's called Energizing Rural Communities prize. So that prize, what we are proposing is that will be a cash prize. So basically we can do whatever. But what we are proposing is to use the prize money if in the event we win, for sure, to actually spread it to 3 different stages. So the first stage of the project will be like engineering design, making a community survey, kind of listen to the community, identify the best site to implement technology within the city, and of course, like building the cost estimate, I'm sorry, building the budget, preliminary budget, engineering design, and finally, for the first stage, that will be a permitting with the county or maybe with the city, so I have to figure out about it. But that's the first stage, and $100,000 will be contributed for that stage in the win. Second stage would be actually building and installing the system. And the third stage we are proposing, because that's a demo site, and we kind of obligated to spread the work, let's say, within our other rural communities within the county, not just country, not just Colorado. So the demo days we can post together in partnership. That would be the event when we invite decision makers from other communities, from Indian tribes, let's say Southern Colorado, or Amish communities, or other small rural communities like we are. So they can come over a particular day and time. They can show the technology performance. They can show how the technology benefits our community and so on. So that the project by itself will be applicable.
Energy tourism.
And frankly, if you're successful, the Department of Energy is awarding you the prize money. So the Department of Energy is paying for help the development of this.
Yes, and so that's if we awarded a second time phase 2, that would be a worth of $200,000 that would be contributed to the phase two, like to actual construction. In addition, we will definitely, so third December, we will definitely need to find another source of funding, like to supplement, but this will be not that much. And also what we are proposing is that to build a list of the funding opportunities for the rural communities, like funding opportunities available within Colorado, within the federal government agencies. So other SBR can actually follow that list and apply for future fundings. Maybe not just for our technology, but for solar PV and so on.
Council, any questions?
Is American made?
Say it again, sir.
American made?
It is, yes.
Right on Floyd Hill.
No, Derek.
I didn't know that was part of America's Floyd.
It's up for grabs.
It's right on the edge of Clark Creek County, so I don't know. Yeah, good debate.
No, we belong to Clearview.
You have my support.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, really questions.
This is just the beginning. I mean, you're just asking for a letter of, like, yeah. I think that's what. Easier than you thought, right?
John, all right?
No.
Okay. Scott? All right.
Way in the
Jeremy?
future, baby.
We're good? Okay, unanimous.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you coming in. All right, next up, Rapid Grass Camping sponsorship request.
You just missed it.
Shot it down in flames.
Bolts of the sun.
Okay, so let's do the sponsorship first. So quick one, and I apologize, we handed that out a couple of weeks ago. I did not bring copies again this week. You want me, do you have any questions on the sponsorship? Do you want me to refresh? I'm bringing it up on my phone, sorry. Refresh you on what the levels were.
I thought last year we did 1,000. Okay. And I noticed, I believe Chief even said we did not have any trouble last year. Or, I'm sorry, not last year, the last time we did this,
The
which
camping,
was a few years ago.
right,
right?
and I personally have not done camping for Rapid Rocks before, so I think you, based on what Mark and Sarah have told me, I think they were having like over 250 tents down there. We've limited that. I expect we're selling the reservations per person, but we fully expect that there'll be 2 to 3 people in a tent. So I only anticipate around 100 to 130 tents, which was good for this first year. I like to do things a little bit on a small scale. And one of the things when we were talking through this too, is before the helicopter landing site was obviously a bigger field. However, we now have that down at the baseball fields. So I think we don't have as large of an area as we did before. And so that is something that I kind of want to check in on, what sort of area do we need to look at having zoned off if the helicopter needed to land? Or is there another location where Flight for Life could land if they needed to?
Yeah, that's already in,
So,
you don't have to zone off the name for.
no, we're good. We have a different spot.
It goes to Dumont and
And so,
there'd be no impact to.
okay, cool. All right, I wasn't.
Oh, that's good to know.
Or is it not landing in the goalpost at all anymore?
It is not.
Okay.
There's some safety risks involved.
That is good to know. Okay, cool. All right, well, then scratch that.
And in
But
your
we're
proposal, you have staff 24 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so we'll have at least one paid staff member is typically how we've been trying to do things there overnight, and then we'll have a couple volunteers as well. One of the other things I don't have included on here, 'cause it's not directly related, but obviously Friday and Saturday night, all the sound equipment is down there. And that's a lot of money, so there'll be someone who is doing security on the sound equipment as well. So, and then I'm curious how ISPD or the Lee Creek Sheriff's might feel about just having someone keep an extra eye on the area. I don't know if that's a possibility. So yeah, we definitely, people overnight will be there.
Chief, I'm sure council would want your opinion on this.
Yeah, sure.
Mayor, like I said before, there hasn't been historically any issues that we're aware of. I'm willing and would be supportive of trying this. Obviously, we would have an officer, we'd make an officer aware and sheriff's department, and they can certainly do some extra patrols and just sort of check the area. So I think my opinion would be to move forward. And, we'll support this and see how this goes.
All right, well, that's good to know. My understanding is last time this happened, it was well picked up. So of course, I know council would want to see something similar. Paul, any heartburn over the proposal?
Absolutely not. Last time they did a camping event there, it was fine. We had a lot of foot traffic up through the tunnel and by the house and, into the Idaho Springs area for those folks that were doing some camping. That's what I remember of it. It went well. I didn't hear of any major issues that occurred over there. And like the chief said, maybe just a couple other patrols just to show that visibility would keep anybody that had any ulterior motives from following through.
Right, well, I appreciate that. Council, we're looking for direction in two areas. One is to allow the camping period. And then the other one is, do we do what we did last year with $1,000 contribution? So both of these are on the table for discussion.
I have a couple of questions about the camping. It looks like you're providing drinking water. What's the rec center passes shower? You allow those people to come to the rec center?
Yep,
for
so
showers?
in the past, what they've done, is we've done discounted shower costs, is like $350 a person.
Electricity doesn't look like no access, no fires. But what about porta potties? You have a number of porta potties in that.
Yeah, so we will have at least 15 to 20 down there. I'm trying to, one of the things I want to look at doing is seeing if we need to do additional porta potties or if the company is willing to come in Saturday morning and pump them. And so that's, I gotta figure
Yeah,
that piece
there's gotta
out.
be a
So,
calculation for how many
Yeah.
need, for how many people, I guess.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Quiet hours, 1 AM to 8 AM, that's not consistent with our ordinances.
So the reason why it says 1 AM is because the music will be going till 12 AM. And so I figure that gives everybody an hour.
They've always done that though.
Yeah.
That's been in the past.
And I'm not sure if they've even actually done something like quiet hours.
Have we ever had a noise ordinance issue?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, and you're far enough away, I think.
I think the
Residential
highway
area,
probably.
right?
I mean, we hear
drowns
everything,
anything
so
out.
I mean, every now and then in the middle of the night, you can hear like laughter or something, but that's any night really. So yeah, I didn't have any. Jeff, you we're in that kind of direct line of like sound, because it comes right off over the I-70. Have you ever had any?
Very muffled.
Yeah. I
Like
think
it's
the
like almost like a
highway
car radio
drowns
that's
it
on
out.
and with the windows
Yeah,
up.
it wasn't anything.
You too.
I hear it up there.
And then you have RVs,
That's the same.
question mark?
This is something more for me, and if I find something that I think I'll have to come back to, but because of the way in the past, they were able to use that parking area, to have the RVs, I don't think is gonna be a possibility. I am gonna reach out to the guy. But we have so many requests coming in already of people wanting to have RVs, and so I'd like to find a space. I don't know that I am gonna find a space, and if I do, then I'll come back. If you guys have any recommendations where RVs can park.
If you don't, we can tell those people.
Right now, we've told them it's not, that we don't have anything, and that we'll reach back out if we find
I didn't
something.
see all the floor means for that.
So, but yes, if you know of any locations where RVs can park, that would be great. So. Nope.
Not in the city. I mean, I always heard that the old sewer plant site would turn into a small RV site, but it doesn't seem like it's ever gonna be non-construction site.
If somewhere like Clay Creek Rafting allowed the RVs to park there, is that fine because it's private property? Or is that something?
There's an ordinance on that, on what you can do on your private property.
Okay, so it definitely, wherever it is, if I found somewhere, I need to.
That there's none. that you can't stay in a camper, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but
It can be in a driveway for a period of
I
less
think
than.
it's 3 days. Okay, that makes sense. So it could also,
Rafting.
It's
Parking lot.
expressly says in code that you cannot have camping on a rafting walk. Like verbatim.
because they don't want,
You had to be
Yeah.
ongoing. That employee
right,
problems on one of them.
I mean, there is opportunities up the frontage road where the camping, I mean, the rafting companies do have a camping site, there's at least two, like Lawson, doesn't that have like,
Yeah, they've got this first camping.
they've got dispersed
Rules,
camping,
they
so
can
there
work
might be
under
some
the
places
county.
that you can kind of
And we
monitor.
could run a shuttle up to camping spots.
Yeah,
I don't know what their feelings would be, but the county owns the incheck station lot. And that would be very shuttleable if they were willing to let it happen there.
Where's-
So if you think about around the bend on 314, where that little house is, right when you're coming around towards the bottom of Floyd Hill.
Okay,
it's a good lot
That-
too.
That's
Has
not even
bathrooms.
that bad of a walk.
No,
I mean, I think it would be good for us to be able to direct people where to go. I mean,
Yeah,
I
you
don't
have
think
to-
anywhere that we can manage.
that's commissioners though, right, that we have to allow
Yeah, I
that,
guess we'd have to
like especially.
do something like this.
Yeah, special use.
Thank you.
What's it called, game trail?
Game check.
Game check, yeah.
Okay, so council, I'm looking for consensus. Do we allow the camping, number one?
Yes, for me.
Art? John?
Yeah, just as long as you get complaints after 10 o'clock, they can shut it down.
Scott? Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm fine. If you do a caveat, it's, you have to have these 10 feet between. tents.
Oh,
I would make
okay.
that 15.
Yeah, and that, that field is
Um,
really big, so. there should
Especially
be
if you're doing propane, cook stoves and stuff like that. Start back with-
And
15 is
obviously
probably
that
good.
is entirely dependent on fire restrictions.
Right.
But no fires at all, only propane if it's okay.
And the second question,
Mayor, if I may just
Yes.
add one caveat to
Of
that,
course,
is that special event application also be completed for this.
Oh,
So that way we
thank
get
you,
the
Eddie.
coordination with fire and public
yeah,
works.
yeah,
and
very,
police,
they're very important.
and the layout can be reviewed and make sure it's acceptable and safe.
Absolutely. Yep. So that's the other qualifier. And then secondly, do we contribute $1,000 like we did last year?
I'm fine with that.
Art? John?
Nope.
Scott?
Yeah.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I think we do that.
Okay, all right.
Do any income from this at all that the city gets, or just,
Well, it's just sales tax.
it's just,
I think we probably more than offset $1,000 contribution in sales tax.
Yeah,
The number of
yeah.
people,
Yeah, you're
probably
probably
4 or 5 days stretch really before now.
I mean, I don't think anybody, there's a lot of events that the city doesn't make anything. I mean, I think that's actually not our city, but all cities, that they don't make a whole lot. Like, I mean, isn't that why they moved Dead
And
Man Days out of it?
I would also just say, sometimes it's hard to quantify, like, I think Jeremy is probably real close with us getting money back just because of all the increased economic activity
Right,
and sales tax. I bet he's close, especially now that there's an additional penny sales tax.
right.
Again, this being paid mostly by visitors. But the second thing is just, it's a good community promotion,
It is.
you know?
It's also
So
good for
that-
the
That's
locals.
what's hard,
It's fun for the locals, I mean,
yeah.
It's a free night.
It's a free fun night, I mean, yeah, Friday night's free, but it's just fun for the locals. I mean, it's nice that we have these kind of events. Like we
Mhm.
went last year and the library truck proved to be very, very popular because it was raining so hard, but it
Oh,
was fun. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun.
They were
just
using it for.
Gully washers, yeah,
How
throwing
about
books out
How
there.
do we handle parking prices? People coming up with cars. Where's all the funding?
well, when the last time we did this, 2019 with the
Yeah.
camping?
I
think it was
think so.
2019.
I was not here at the time. so-
And I don't, honestly, I don't ever remember it being a problem. They tended to find spaces down there at that end, and
for the record, we had actually had a couple people ask if they could park on our street and drop their camper off when they still could have the smaller campers. We're like, yeah, sure, people that we knew, of course, that
Yeah,
wasn't
makes
just, yeah. And they walked back over and, yeah,
Yeah, because I would have been pretty sensitive to it, and I don't remember it being a problem.
I don't think it was bad. They were very nice
I
about
don't
it.
remember, but I was curious.
314 closes in September anyway, so really you're not impacting the
Right.
normal traffic we would have for
Right.
that whole stretch of 4 houses.
Wonder if we could ever have parking up on our property up on Pine Slope? Have some sort of.
Okay, wait, not a problem. $5 a car. Another 10. And if they want, we can change the oil for $100.
I'm saying, you can make some money, you could wash cars,
Absolutely.
Art.
Andy Johnson,
Enough cars to buy one.
you feel we have a direction that we need? It's okay.
Wonder, did you have
Well, thank-
anything you wanted to add?
No, and I took notes, so I agree on that direction, yep. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Big golf tournament. People actually
And,
sell
The third thing on the agenda is a dispatch update.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's right.
They sell their parking spots. They go out of town for the day.
Sure. So,
Yeah. Thank you.
Mayor, I'll go ahead and kick this off and then turn it over to the
Sure.
chief to add any additional information into you. As council knows, the chief has been investigating options for dispatch to save money, to see if we can have a different setup, either with what we have now or another option to have the same or better service with dispatch and to save money, because each year it costs more and more to have dispatch services through the sheriff's office. And the chief came to council at work session last fall, and the culmination of all of that research and the presentation to council was we got direction from council to send a letter to the Clear Creek Sheriff's Office and the commissioners, notified them of our intent to leave Clear Creek County dispatch as of the end of this year. Now, that didn't mean we were going to do it, but it meant that we wanted, under the IGA that we currently have, is to provide that option to be able to go to a different dispatch center, in this case, Jeffcom, if we so choose. So it left us open the option. So a number of months have passed, and that deadline was June 1st for us to go or no go. That was the internal deadline that we set, that Jeffcom came in and made some presentation as well, and they need about 4 to 6 months in order to make that transition happen to their operation. So we just said, you know what, we'll set the deadline of June 1st. We need direction from council to go or not to go. So back in December, we sent the letter of intent, leaving open the option to be able to leave as of January 1st, 2024. And then we also said internally that June 1st would be our deadline to actually make the decision, now that we've left the option open, to go or not to go. We just got a very recent update from the county. I got a call from the county manager on Thursday that the commissioners have directed the county manager to conduct a 3 to 4 week study with the consultant who works with Jeffcom about all of Clear Creek County going to Jeffcom. So this is a huge update for us, because where things were was that it wasn't clear whether Jeffcom would be able to take just us, even though they thought they would, but there was just some other considerations as far as the county and whether all entities would go. And we think this is a good development, because it shows that the county has taken this to a new level and wants to quickly decide whether not just Idaho Springs leaving, but whether all of the, all of dispatch with Clear Creek County would go to Jeffcom. So again, this will be a 3 to 4 week study, so it'll be very quick. And it would still allow 4 to 6 months to make that transition if it's decided that all would go. So bottom line is, we were in the unenviable position where we thought we might be here saying to council, well, Jeffcom's not sure they're quite ready to just take Idaho Springs until the county decides what it's going to do. But we knew that we felt things needed to happen a little more quickly, and now they are. It's now the commissioner saying to the county manager, get the study done in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and then report back. And that'll be before we really get to a point where we have to say go or no go. So we have a little bit of leeway here. And it's my opinion, and I think the chiefs as well, that this is probably the best case scenario, that this is kind of where we wanted to be, is we wanted to hear from the county and other agency whether they felt they should go over to Jeffcom. We're looking out obviously for the city. We felt it was investors for the city to go to Jeffcom just as our agency. We also recognize, as far as a greater good, that also puts a hardship on Clear Creek County and maybe the other agencies unless they decided to come as well. We recognize that. So this, there is the time to do this study, we feel, and still make a decision to go or no go. And I think this is an excellent development as far as helping decide whether this is in the best interest, not only of the city, but of the whole county. So I'll stop there. And Chief, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that, I know that I've also, I know that yeah, the county is working at that side of things with Jeffcom, and I do know that the sheriff's department did have a discussion that I was at with Gilpin, with the sheriff there, and it was productive. And so there's things that are still happening and working as far as trying to find the best solution. So just wanted to add that, which I think it was important.
That's an important
to
point.
share.
Yep.
That those discussions were taking place. Now, whether logistically those things can happen and what that would look like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that will be part of whatever study that they're looking at doing, but just wanted to share that because I thought it was important.
So I think, as I understand it, and the county manager said he wanted to meet with the city this week to talk about this study and get it kicked off. So I would expect that we could provide council another update by the end of June, no later than early July, based upon what I heard from the county manager on Thursday. So I think we would agree that we should participate in the study. They'll need us to participate and provide data and be a part of it. We've had a lot of discussions as a city with Jeffcom, but the county as a whole, the other entities have not. So this will provide them a chance to do what the chief had already accomplished for the city, but we'll just say we'll be part of this process. As long as we keep this timetable, it still keeps our option open of just going as a city, if that's the direction from council. Or maybe it'll be the direction or the decision of all the entities to go together. So that would be our thought, is to have a report back to council by the end of June, early July, and we can still have that ability to go or not to go with Jeffcom, make that decision. Yeah. Mayor, was there anything you wanted to add to that? I know you've been reading through on. Is there anything else you want to add to this, or is this?
Well, I am glad, however way this goes, that the county is bringing the study about in a timely fashion. I mean, if it's done in the next 4 or 5 weeks, should there be a decision for the county-wide to go, that makes it easier for us, of course. And also Jeffcom had said 4 to 6 on the transition. chief was leaning 6, just err on the side of caution, you'd rather have more than enough than not enough time, but I think it makes things a lot easier if we all went at once, and again, this is if the decision is made to go, right?
So if the county decides to go, there's no other choices for the municipalities. Am I wrong with that? I mean, if the county goes, everybody else has to go.
That's
You would
probably
be right, unless we have a giant.
We don't even have a choice.
Yeah.
We won't even have a choice. If the
That's
county
correct.
says, yeah, we're going to Jefftown,
That's correct.
we don't even have to make a decision.
One other thing I might add, this is an important point here, is the reason that this study can be done so quickly is the study is being done by a consultant that Jeffcom uses regularly, Brian Wilkerson. So Jeffcom uses this consultant when they brought in other agencies. So that's how, it's not like this has to go up to an RFP and all of that. So this could happen very quickly.
And Andy, for council's benefit, there is one other thing I hadn't even thought of, but everybody doesn't or wouldn't have to go January 1st. For example, if the county said, we want to make sure there's an extra month and they wanted a transition February 1st, right?
Yes, I think that's correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
I think just personally, I think there are some advantages to doing it at the beginning of the year, just for data collection and all of that, or maybe mid-year, something like that. But I think really it'd be an advantage maybe to go January 1st. But I think it's certainly workable, Mayor, as you said. It doesn't have to be.
And I'm only bringing it up because I swear I was locked in with this, blinders of January 1st. So, all right.
So one more point too, real quick. If our pricing was just for the city of Idaho Springs and the county decides to do this, will that affect our price to be possibly less than what they quoted us? Because of the grouping?
I think that's a better question for them, but the way I understand it was the contract that we were presented is the same contract that we be presented whether or not the whole county goes or not. So if that's the
I think
case,
it's worth the discussion though.
then it wouldn't affect us.
Because I think they have a little different operation possibly. They might have some cost savings when they're doing the whole consolidated.
You would think, yeah.
Possibility, I don't think it's worth, that's a good question.
Right.
All right, anything further?
Does the fire authority have any concerns with the radio they're using, or? I know you guys are short already.
I think it's the same state system, no matter how we do it.
Okay, it's on,
I'll leave it at that. There's some other issues. Face that agency.
You want the 800 megahertz system?
Yeah, but our costs, the fire authority costs would go up for dispatch over what we currently pay. So that is one of the things that we can do.
Any further questions? Do all the commissioners want this to be checked out, or just 2 commissioners?
I don't know the answer to that, but I know it was the majority of commissioners, so at least 2. Maybe all 3, but I know at least 2. This was a direction, that's the way the county manager gets his direction is by, it's got to be at least 2.
We determined that, it's going to be a sizable savings for us.
Right.
Would the county savings be in our category or not so much in our category? Because they're out of the operators.
I know it was more than $750,000.
With that,
I think the ratio would be the same. Their call is higher, but I think the savings
okay.
ratio would be the same across
Consultant
the
to
board.
call that. That's interesting.
We'd be looking at also, 911 funds. So, that would be obviously part of it. I realize it's a small part, population wise, but.
I think
Sounds good.
part of the study really again, the chief did a lot of the research on options for dispatch and worked with Jeffcom. We had a presentation, so we were ahead of the game. And I think really what this study does is get all the other entities in the county caught up on what we know. And to give them the, comfort that this is feasible, it makes sense, here are the costs that are associated with it, and I think that's really what's going on here. It's getting everybody else up to speed.
I don't think it's the end, though. If you read the little newspapers up and down, all the way to the Utah border, they're talking about dispatch and how much it costs for small towns. So it's a tremendous amount of the budget for all these towns. So I think it's gonna be, by the way, uniform would probably be better, right, across the board. I mean, rather than everybody having their own, I'm not that way, style, but you know what I mean.
Pretty much the majority of the departments in the state of Colorado want to stay for consistent.
Right, so it just makes sense that,
There are still some outliers that aren't. But it's getting fewer and far between right now.
right,
So that kind of leads towards whatever that eventual solution, all the agencies will draw on the same rates.
right.
I think it's moving in that direction. I'm not sure how fast. I mean, if you look at the ISP budget, if staying in Clear Creek, it's a fourth of the budget.
And it's enormous.
And obviously, if it doesn't change, if we all went, it would be 10th of the budget. Yeah, or less. So it's hard to not. It's hard to not.
Absolutely, especially when there's officer safety that we need to take into consideration going into the future.
Oh, any further questions? All right, well, Chief, thanks, appreciate
You did all the work.
it.
That was pretty.
And we have one final thing on our work agenda, and that is streets update. Paul?
Let's go up.
Streets update.
I wasn't prepared for this.
Sorry, have a seat. It's just a conversation about
Sure.
the action items that you'll be presenting tonight.
Fair enough.
Since they're just
I am
to
prepared for
give a
that.
little, just to give a little more background, ask questions before they actually vote on it.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Just
we
give an
had-
overview of your proposal, please.
There were three proposals. One was for parks, one was for the actual streets, one was for the parking lot. The first one is Colorado Boulevard. And this is a restriping, new thermal inlays for all the crosswalks. All the markers, so we have the center stripe, fog lines, and stop bars, things of that nature. Everything that you're seeing on the street now, stuff that's been faded out. This is all from one end of town to the other, the entire length of Colorado Boulevard. That's what this is. So it's a refresh of the entire thing. The parking lots is half the parking lot is still kind of in a funky old mode. That's going to get a resurfacing. The parking lots will be restriped. They're going to do some pothole repairs to the parking lots, get that good to go. And if you need me to stop and you want to ask questions about any of those two just yet, go ahead. But the third one was our parks, and this was a pretty big one with new sod for about 12,000 square feet of the park. We were having some issues in that park. Under John's direction, we went and got some soil samples. So we kind of know what's going on with the soil and why we were having issues getting some growth in there. It wasn't great soil. So with this, we're also going to get some soil treatment so that we can correct some of those soil deficiencies. That grass will start to grow better, but it's been a challenge in there with that. It wasn't the best soil to grow their grass in. So
How many more years do you think you're gonna give it before you change to a different surface?
for the grass, I'd like to see grass in there all the time. I think a natural grass in the park is a must.
But how many more years are you gonna give it if it doesn't make it every year? That's my question.
I think that with this new direction, with actually knowing the deficiencies in the soil
Right, that would help.
is gonna be a big deal. So I think with the sod is kind of a cheat because it's a jump start. We're not trying to keep traffic off of it, for an entire year while trying to get it to grow. It will survive a little bit of traffic a little bit sooner.
And Paul, just to digress back to the parking lot, for the first time, we're gonna have some designated motorcycle park.
Yes. Yes. So There were a couple sections, and I've also been talking with the bar owner. We were having some discussion on what size to make these, but I found some, because we don't have that regulation in city code for the size of that type of parking space. I had to kind of go outside the box there to try and find what others were doing. So we're gonna, it's a little flex on what was standardized in some other places, which was 4 feet wide and 10 feet long. I think 10 feet long is a little too generous. We can shrink that up a little bit.
Those spaces will be on the south side of the Vintage Moose, is that
South
right?
side of Vintage Moose and just out here outside of Anderson Park.
Question on the work that's gonna be done, what's the period of time and what hours are they gonna be?
Which one?
running it? Well, I'll start with the Colorado one, I guess.
Colorado Boulevard, it's just probably going to be about 2 days. That's what we would do one direction one day, one direction the next day. They may be able to get it all in one day. Just that one's a little, I'm unsure exactly. I know he'd said 2 days, but I think it could be just a little bit longer. The park is going to be,
Is that a weekday? You'd be doing that on
we'd
weekdays?
be doing that during the weekday.
Okay. But during normal hours, this, they
During
might have
business hours.
flaggers and.
The nice thing about the paints is it'll set up pretty quick. We can kind of keep a rolling work zone. The thermal inlays are drivable right after they're laid in.
Okay, and then the parking lot, how will that be coordinated?
The parking lots, I'm gonna try and get it one closure in the middle of the week and get the whole thing taken care of. We can, well, half of it's being resurfaced because the other half's still pretty new. We can work around that. I'm not sure, I don't have a game plan for how we're gonna get that striped and surfaced at the same time, or if he's gonna surface and then stripe the entire thing. So I don't quite have a game plan on how that one's gonna be done, but I'd like to get the whole thing done at once, but it seems a little much to me. I think it's gonna be a 2-day project as well.
Paul, that's not a blacktop, that's a seal coat. Is
It's
that
a
right?
seal coat, that's
Oh,
correct.
Okay. So it's not.
It's not new asphalt
Yeah.
going down. There'll be a couple patches, but they're gonna do the patches with a couple large potholes and really bad areas. And it'll be a seal coat. I think McDonald's Conoco, they just did a similar operation with that seal coat, and that's what this is gonna do. This is also a little bit of an experiment because Colorado Boulevard needs a seal coat as well. And I want to take a look at this product. He has a 1-year warranty on this. I want to see what kind of longevity we have with the parking lots being so busy. You know, do we want to go with this product? Do we want to try a different product? It's a little bit of an experiment again, like I said, to Colorado Boulevard does need a seal coat as well.
And the seal coat could be done in a couple of years, extend the life of the surface, and then eventually it'd have to be repaid. Is that right?
Not necessarily repaved, but a mill and fill. So where we would mill the top inch or two and then relay new asphalt over the top there.
But the seal coat in a couple of years might give us a little more life. But
It will, yeah, help extend the life of what's down
So
already.
we have to do the mill and paving.
Right.
All right, any questions for Paul?
And Paul, in the park, that'll be the east section of the park that will be resodded.
Correct. Between the pavilion and the bathrooms, that area in there, it's an area that we worked on a couple of years ago and didn't have any luck with. And part of the reason was that bad soil composition. Knowing better what's in the soil and what we need to address in it was a real big step here.
Yeah. Good call. We're doing a section at a time, and then probably next year we come back and want to do the other half of the most trafficked area there at CRC Park. But
Yeah.
we just haven't had a lot of success with the grass
Yeah.
and the soil, so we really need to go to this next level. And as Paul pointed out, the good news is we can walk on a lot sooner than new grass. You know, it has to be fenced off initially,
Correct.
but then it can be opened up for traffic.
We need to get that watered in. It's a couple weeks still, but you know, by the time we get to the later summer, we should be able to open that up. Watering's the key with sod. Everybody here has had their experiments with sod, and then watering is key. So getting that down, getting that well watered in, well established, get those roots to get established. It wasn't possible with seed. Again, part of it was the soil composition, but the other part of it was just the foot traffic was not helping in that area at all. So.
If the vendor has some extra material that he doesn't know what to do with, he'll bring it to pump station.
We will be bringing back in the near future some overlay projects as well. Don't know if it's going to include Pine Slope. I know that needs some attention, but we also have some utilities that might need to be
So
fixed in that area.
all the people up there want is the
Puddles.
the puddle parts filled in nicely.
Yep.
Not looking for an asphalt road of any kind. They're very open to, maybe a little.
Well, there's some plans to get some grading on that at some point in the near
Yeah.
future, right?
It's tough.
As you know, it was a little early in the season with all the rain. It takes anytime we go do work up there, this rain is just going to really tear it up.
Right.
So we're starting to get past that point where we have these everyday rains. We'll get up there, get that addressed, so it'll last a little longer. We really do need to do something with a proper machine. We've been doing that with loaders and stuff, and we can't get the proper grade on that road, so we
It's
can't.
hard, yeah, it's hard. The only reason I bring it up is my neighbor swam home the other day, and so I thought, I better say something.
Well, you mentioned about the city used to have a grader, but you talked about maybe running a grader to.
There's
actually
the
get that
potential to rent one and get that taken care of, yeah.
I was just asking Paul about that. I hadn't seen it in quite a while, but we had that like 1950s grader.
Exactly 1950.
And I was kind of wondering about like Pine Slope or any other dirt, how we would deal with it. But yeah, I guess just scraping with the front end loader, right?
The front end loader just doesn't give you a lot of articulation, so
Yeah.
it's a play with the slope.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the striping on Colorado Boulevard, that's scheduled for June, is that right?
That's correct, second half of June. The sooner you get,
Get proposal signed?
the sooner things get signed, the faster we can move on that for sure.
And the parking lots, what are you thinking on that?
We haven't established a date on that.
Okay.
And as soon as I know that it's a go, I can for sure tell him we can work out a date on that one.
And the park probably,
But the park, probably in a few weeks, we still have some work that we want to do in-house. We discussed redressing some space around the picnic tables.
Yep.
And we were going to do just a crusher fines type area around the picnic tables and then make that transition to grass. So those areas that are really heavy trafficked over there won't suffer any.
that's over near the trees and
Correct.
where grass just doesn't grow.
It doesn't
Probably
grow
won't
anyway. If we could throw money at that all day, then we couldn't get grass thrown there.
Well, any further questions for Paul? Well, then with that, before we take a break and reconvene for our regular session at 7 p.m., I would just point out that our new officer, Salim Romo, is going to be sworn in tonight, and he's here with us. If you'd like to say hi, but with that, we'll see you here in about 10 minutes. It'll just be like another minute.
I guess I should fix the camera.
I don't think so.
I know, that'd be so weird. You feel like we're like broadcast. Once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah.
Appropriate amount of times.
Yeah.
We gotta include you.
I try that myself too.
Pretty aware that we can.
No leaning off to the right.
Hired financial person at that time.
Right.
It's a final conversation.
That's awesome. Good to hear. You kind of not know you all that stuff.
So we're ready. We're ready.
Well, hello, I'd like to welcome everybody to the May 22nd, 2023 regular council session here in Idaho Springs. We'll start off with roll call, please.
Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Here.
Kate Collier. Here. Art Cacavelli.
Here.
Scott Pennell.
Here.
Jim Clark. John Curtis.
Yes.
Jeremy Jones. Thank you.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. We have an agenda before us. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the agenda for May 22nd, 2023.
Thank you, John. Do I have a second? And a second from Jeremy. Any discussion of the agenda? All those in favor, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Does anyone tonight feel to have a conflict of interest? Hearing none, we'll move to approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes from May 8th, 2023.
Thank you, Art. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Scott. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? We have bills before us tonight through May 22nd, 2023. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve bills to May 22nd, 2023.
Thank you, John. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Art. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Art Cacavelli.
Yes.
Scott Pennell.
Yes.
Jim Clark. John Curtis.
Yes.
Jeremy Jones.
Yes.
Moving to public comments. We have some folks tonight.
Right here. Right here.
Thank you.
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Absolutely. I'm Chris Troya. I am with Berkeley County Department of Human Services, and I'm here representing the Mayor's and Commissioners Youth Board. And
Can you state your address for the record?
yes, 811 Main Street, Georgetown, Colorado. Thank you.
And first, let me say thank you. Everybody has 3 minutes for public comment. And please understand, this is our time to listen. So most of the time, there's no back and forth between council. But please, we're glad to have you.
Thank you. And I won't take a whole lot of your time. There was a packet, I believe, that all of you received. I just want to thank you for your time this evening and your generous donations in the past. Without this, your support, the event would not nearly be the excess, and we're able to support these young youth and provide them with a special evening and an awards. For those of you that are new to the Mayor's and Commissioners Youth Award, it's an award that honors youth between the ages of 13 and 19 who overcome personal adversity and create positive changes in their life. Youth who are awarded must be nominated and exhibit the certain criteria within the nomination. This year we did have 7 reward winners, 2 from the town of Georgetown, 1 from Dumont, Downeyville, and Lawson, 1 from Floyd Hill, and 3 from Idaho Springs. Again, real quick, I just wanted to thank you again, and I'll open it up for any questions.
Well, thank you. And we still have plenty of time. Does council have any questions? Well, thank you. Wonderful program.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
We
Thank you.
appreciate you doing that,
your
Teresa.
support. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Mayor Council, I might just add that we are budgeted as we were last year for $2,000.
Excellent.
That's the direction of council.
Very good. Would I have the consensus of council if we continue with that program?
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Mayor, the other scheduled public comments are via Zoom. So we are ready for the next whenever you are ready.
All right, sounds good, please.
Somebody in the audience as well.
Yeah, that is the third one. So,
Oh, okay. Mr. Kim is first. Mr. Kim, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Kim, can you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Yep, it's Daniel Kim. Address is 302 Soda Creek Road, Idaho Springs, Colorado 80452.
Thank you.
And welcome. I don't know if you heard me earlier, but the public comment, everybody has 3 minutes.
Okay.
We really appreciate your time. This is council's time to listen, so there may not be back and forth, but please proceed.
Okay, so I'm here today to see if I can get some relief off of our sewer bill that we noticed approximately about March 9th is when we received the bill that stated from, let's see, 12/1 to February 3rd, 2023. That's when we started noticing the water and sewer bill for the cabin area quite significant. March 9th, March 10th is when we reached out to the city and Doug and me and we met with Paul to look at the meter, was able to locate the meter and shut off the valve. At that moment, on March 15th, we contracted a company to install new water lines. And we did attach an invoice of $31,000 that we fixed quite immediately. Recently, I also got another bill from February 3rd to the 4th of April showing a huge substantial amount as well. Just trying to see if I can get some relief on the sewer balance.
We did get your report. I felt it was very much to the point. And thank you. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, this is my first time. So if anything else, that's just pretty much what I like to state.
All right.
Before I sent that, I did not receive the second one that we received, which sewer balance is now showing at 20,000. So it's 2 times bigger than the first one.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Before we have the next public comment, I'm thinking that staff would like direction because all 3 of these are very similar.
Correct.
And we have had situations in the past that have also been similar. So perhaps we'll have a short discussion after the third and final person. If,
Are the amounts available to us as far as what bills?
yeah, I'm sorry, Art. This one was like $32,000 or something like that. No, that was just Hot Springs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but for the whole period you saw.
Yeah. All right. Next up, I believe it's Teresa from Bojo's, correct?
Yes, thank you.
Teresa, I'm sorry. Can you please state your name and address just for the record, please?
I'm sure it's Teresa Falco, and my address is 9670 Golden Eagle Place, Highlands Ranch, Colorado, 80129.
Thank you.
So we, like Mr. Kim, received a very hefty water and sewer bill in February, and in December of 22, we noticed, actually a customer notified us that they heard water running down in the mine shaft. And we immediately, reached out to a plumber, and they came right that day, and the water had been leaking for quite some time. We had to basically start kind of a chain reaction with buckets and taking the water to get it out of that basement area. Prior to that, somebody had been down there and noticed kind of a drip, and didn't, think much of it. And then it obviously progressed. So we are also looking for some relief on the $16,000 water bill that we received.
Teresa, we received your report in our packet. It was very, very much to the point. And I want to thank you very much for your time.
I appreciate it.
We will be discussing that bill here in just a few more minutes.
Okay, thank you.
And looks like next up is Sarah Graves. Sarah, welcome.
Hi, thank you. It's nice to meet you all. I'm Sarah Graves. The address is 2330 Riverside Drive, Idaho Springs, Colorado, 80452. Yeah, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record at this point, but here for a similar reason. Before I kind of go into the spiel, I just want to let y'all know, as you're discussing, I did ask the contractor that we have. I'm from the state, the Argo treatment plant right there by the mill. And the contractor that we have that does all the operations is also dialed in, just in case there's any questions, because I wasn't here the day they discovered it. So basically what happened is a similar situation. Our bill only applies to the February to May or April period. However, we discovered the leak in May, so our next bill will also be impacted by the leak. But there's an outdoor spigot that we don't use much. We use it to wash down equipment every once in a while, and that's about it. And once we got the bill, we saw that it was $30,000 when generally we average between 1,100 and 1,500. And our operators went out, looked around. There's still to this point, at this point, that we've never seen any water daylighting or anything like that. But we noticed that you could hear water kind of in the area of that spigot, and they went down to the meter and saw that it was spinning. And so then they called the public works department here, and they came out, put in a ticket and said, yep, it looks like there must be a leak in this line somewhere. So we shut the valve to that spigot on May 3rd. And so I'm here for the same reason, to ask for little relief, because that $30,000 is right outside our water budget for what we usually use. And also the other primary thing I wanted to ask is just for a little bit of information about how to approach that, because it will also impact our next billing period as well. So that's it.
Well, Sarah, we have your report in our packets. It was very concise, and thank you very much. We're going to discuss the situation as it is so similar with all three businesses.
Awesome.
So thank you. Council, we have had situations like this in the past. Fortunately, we did not have to deal with that amount of sewage. And we have given relief on the sewer side of the bill.
Only on the water side. No, I don't believe we've given.
Sewer only because it's not treated. So that's what we usually relieve on the sewer, because the water was treated, used, and was lost. But however, it's not sewage having to go into the sewer plant to be treated.
Right, that's
because it's just leaking out.
Right, that's what I mean.
And what would you like to see?
Oh, it was cold here. Frost got in the ground. Up a lot of water lines.
I think Art had this question, is how does that get calculated? You go calculation off history or?
No, we take what water was used and then we have, the bill. So what water was used is billed as the sewer was billed. And the sewer always comes off the water usage. So we will go back, yes, like you said, and go back to their average usage, like take
Average usage.
6, and get an average and be like, okay, so their usual is 200, this time it's 30,000. It's a big difference off the average. And that's how that's how Patty came up with the numbers in the letter.
Okay.
You go off 6 months usage, you said?
Well, 6 billing cycles actually is
6
what,
billing.
correct,
cycles.
which is a year.
Because would I be mistaken to think that sometimes different times a year have different usages?
That's why we try to take the whole year
And
versus
you
just
try to
summer
get
or
some
just
type of
winter.
average. It's not
Correct,
gonna
so
be
we
a-
feel it's fair just as a yearly
Yeah.
average of what the sewer is.
Okay.
We did something similar with a resident, just about a month ago.
You want to vote on these individually or just vote?
Well,
on them?
does anyone have any heartburn if we just do it as just one situation? I mean, they're all almost remarkably similar.
My only concern is that we always stay consistent, so if staff feels that this is the consistent route, then I'm.
This is consistent with what we've done. I would recommend that we look at this in a future work session because we could come up with a formula that's maybe a little bit more exact and like come up with some forms and things like that. So it's more of an official program than people coming in a
Council.
uncommon format. And so that could be something that we do, just bring together a little bit more formalized program.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's a good idea.
There's one difference too, is in the third person that spoke, Sarah, that they have a bill that hasn't been calculated yet.
Well, she's pointed that out, but this could also be a case with at least one other one. I mean,
At least 2 is gonna have a bill coming. Timeline.
yeah. So,
So our vote would have to be.
with the understanding that some of this may bleed over into
Yeah,
another
next
billing,
bill.
yeah.
Overflow.
Yeah.
Jeremy, are you all right with granting the relief?
Yeah, I think it's, so basically with grant relief, they would pay the average for their sewer, historic average and all the water, but historic average for the sewer for the essentially 2 billing periods. I think it's gonna hit all of them for multiples, but I have the timeline. Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do.
John?
I'm okay with it.
Scott?
Yes.
I'm okay with it, but have they looked while they had these people out there fishing? To look around to see if other damage might be occurring or possibly occurring. So we won't have to hear about this again, that they take some proaction if they can, if it's allowed as far as the digging in the underneath the ground, all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying no, I'm saying yes, but I think maybe when they've got professionals out there, they should have them look more thoroughly if they can, do some pressure testing or whatever, to see if there might be other weaknesses in the system that might avert them having to do this.
Paul?
The hot springs was proactive in this. They did do complete line replacements.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
The CDPHE building, the treatment plant, theirs was like an auxiliary spigot. It's far away from the building. It's out there, right at the edge of the property. Yeah, they have the ability to shut that off from the interior of the building, so that one shouldn't be in. It was recommended to them. They're also going to do some meter monitoring as part of their daily routine to, make sure something like that doesn't occur
All
again.
right, that's good. That's great. That's good. Okay?
I'm on the same page, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should we ask maybe in the work session that they show some kind of documentation that the water actually didn't go down the drain?
It didn't.
For example, if someone's basement flooded and they pumped it down the drain, and they said, well, it didn't go down the drain.
For the hot springs and for the CDPHE building, I am 100% positive it didn't go down the drain.
Right, well, I don't know if we want to set.
But
if you guys
you
wanna
know
set
what, though,
precedents.
if we come up with a form
You're right,
to standardize this, that would be a very valid question.
that's what I'm.
Verified by Paul. Or who verifies that usually?
I think it would require some form of inspection.
Yeah.
Would that be Paul or?
It'd be
outside?
Public Works.
Okay.
All right, good suggestion.
In the face of public works.
All right, you have the direction, and it looks like we will be going with staff recommendation. And Jonathan, I think you're right about having some kind of a conformancy, in the future. We'll make sure it's fair for everybody.
We'll do a little bit of research about the program and we can bring it back.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, do we have any other public comments tonight? Scheduled or unscheduled?
Nobody signed up, anybody online?
Okay, well, thank you. Next up, it is my honor to welcome our newest officer, Salim Romo. Welcome, welcome, and we have a swearing in.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Salim Romo,
I, Steve Romo,
do solemnly declare and affirm that I will support the laws and Constitution of the United States of America
Do solemnly declare and affirm that I will support the laws and Constitution of the United States of America
and of the state of Colorado
and the state of Colorado
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Idaho Springs
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Idaho Springs
and the rules and regulations of the Idaho Springs Police Department.
and the rules and regulations of the Idaho Springs Police Department.
I swear I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of Idaho Springs Police Officer to which I have been appointed.
I swear I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of Idaho Springs Police Officer, to which I've been appointed.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Salim's from Texas, right? Sure. Yeah. So he was looking for a little more adventure, so he decided to move to Colorado. So here he is. And, he's also a member of the armed forces, and it would be our first guardsman. Is it the Army Guard? Yeah, the Army Guard. So
Excellent.
Excellent, yeah,
Thank you for your service.
thank you.
absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Coming on now.
You're welcome to stop sign.
All right, we don't have anything with liquor licensing authority tonight. Do we have our finance officer?
She's not able to join us this evening.
Okay, all right. Then we will move on to resolutions. And we only have one under resolutions. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a resolution adopting the revised city employee job descriptions for deputy city clerk, deputy treasurer / municipal court clerk, administrator / utility clerk, and city services manager.
Thank you, Jeremy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from John. Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Art Cacavelli.
Yes.
Scott Pennell.
Yes.
Jim Clark. John Curtis.
Yes.
Jeremy Jones.
Yes.
Well, amazingly, we have no ordinance first readings or second readings. City attorney's not with us tonight. Andy, looks like you don't have any requests for action, but wondering, did you have anything else for us tonight?
I don't.
All right, okay. Jonathan, you also have no requests for action. Did you have anything for us tonight?
I do have one additional thing. In June, the CML 100th anniversary conference will be held. The mayor and I are going to attend, and it's a really great conference. It's a really good educational opportunity and a chance to connect with other elected officials and staff from all over the state. We have a budget for city council and members of planning commission to attend if you'd like to, and we'd love to have you join us. It's at the Gaylord Hotel in Denver, and is it June 28th?
Last week.
26th through the 28th, I believe. And we do have, like I said, we have a budget to attend, and it's a really good event. And so I just wanted to see if any of you might join us.
Yeah, thank you for that invitation. And of course, if you'd like to, please let Jonathan know so we can RSVP.
And early bird registration is almost over.
Oh, yes.
We need to know
Yeah.
pretty quickly here.
That's right.
If anybody else wants to-
That's right. I think, got to know by like Friday or something. I think so. Okay. All right. Wonder, you have no requests for action. Did you have anything else for us tonight?
I do have a couple things. Monday is a holiday, so City Hall will be closed for Memorial
right.
Day, just a heads up on that. And then a longtime resident, Carla Reed's brought in all these proclamations and these dedications that were made to Dottie. So we have this
nice.
wonderful celebration of Dottie here, if you want to look at it.
Very nice.
You need a martini and a cigarette over there.
Yeah,
And that's all I have.
all right, very good. Thank you, Winter. Chief, anything further for us tonight?
No, I had some unforeseen circumstances, so I couldn't do the staff report to you this go around, but just want to share that Officer Ron Baylor was chosen as the Lyle Rollers Officer of the Year for 2022. I mean, ISPD won the Officer of the Year 3 of the last 4 years.
Jeez.
So that's great. So that's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you. All right, we will go down to Public Works, 3, request for action.
Yes, sir.
And do I have a motion?
Well, move to approve a proposal from Carl Barricade for the restriping of center lines, fog lines, parking stalls, as well as crosswalk stop bars, school zone markings. Crosswalk stop bars will be thermal inlays from exit 241 to Standard Road and Carl Boulevard in the amount of $79,210. Paid from the ramp fund 20-00-6024.
Thank you, Jeremy. Do I have a second? Second from John. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Tuck Harmon.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Art Cacavelli.
Yes.
Scott Pennell.
Yes.
Jim Clark, John Curtis.
Yes.
Jeremy Jones.
Yes.
Okay. And the second item for some paving and seal coating, do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve a proposal from Express Paving and Seal Coating for asphalt repair, crack sealing, seal coating, and restriping of the city parking lots between 15th Avenue and 17th Avenue and Idaho and Water Street in the amount of $22,500 paid from line item 23-006016.
Thank you, Scott. Do I have a second?
I second.
Second from Art. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Tuck Harmon.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Art Cacavelli.
Yes.
Scott Pennell.
Yes.
Jim Clark, John Curtis.
Yes.
Jeremy Jones.
Yes.
All right, and lastly, we've got some sod replacement at the Cooper Riley Park. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve a proposal from Arrowhead Landscape Services for rehabilitation of the lawn in Port Riley Cooper Park. Supposed to include tilling of soil, rock removal, soil treatment, installation of 12,500 square feet of sod between the restrooms and pavilion in the amount of $33,019 paid from 21-00-6024.
Thank you, Jeremy. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, second from Scott. And any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Tuck Harmon.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Art Cacavelli.
Yes.
Scott Pennell.
Yes.
Jim Clark, John Curtis.
Yes.
Jeremy Jones.
Yes.
Ed, no request for action. Did you have anything further to share with us?
TOC levels in the creek have been quite high.
Yeah.
Explain TOC.
TOC is total organic carbon.
Mhm.
It's a factor in creating disinfectant byproducts, which has been known to cause cancer if you were to ingest them for many, many years. The state puts regulations on that for what kind of disinfectant byproducts that you can have and has a sample for it quarterly. Usually the TOC level is like an indicator of how many disinfectant byproducts you're gonna have. Usually on any given year would be somewhere like in a 5 to a 6 in the raw water. This year at the beginning of it, we were 10 to 15. The system, coagulation system that we have up there is designed to remove that 5 to 6 milligrams per liter approximately and get us down to about a 2 for the finished water. And we've been pretty good as far as our disinfectant byproducts level has been up until this year. So Chris Brunell at Genesee has a granulated activated carbon filter at his plant that I want to go down and take a look at and maybe see some more information about that. And then, so if this winds up continuing or being a trend with us, then we'll be ready for what's to come.
And I realize this might be premature, but have you considered some kind of a maybe ballparkish kind of a figure? Should we go that route?
Lots.
I'm talking like 150?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, so what we'd have to do would probably have to be engineered and thought about and then probably put in the CIP.
Mhm. Yeah, for next year.
Yeah, fairly certain that we're gonna start doing that in July. So,
So that's in our drinking water?